should be doing the remaining. You may have spotted, got a big behind my beard, external microphone fitted, so hopefully this will help a little bit with the audio issues I've been having recently. It is very windy today, so yeah, just gonna have to see what it'll turn out like and go from there. I am looking to get a wireless microphone, but yeah, as I had this around from the GoPro days when I was used to go drifting, I thought I'd give it a go first and yeah, see what happens. So, number plate time. So I got this number plate plinth left over from the NCMX5 that I had last year. So just going to see what it's like fitment wise on the car. Where these U fasteners are, they do seem to be in line, but then I won't be able to mount the plate. So I could, yeah, I don't know how to do this. I could screw using these holes here. I used them last time for the MX-5, but yeah, might have to have a play around and see what I can come up with. So I've now got the masking tape on the back of the plate. Also masking taped the plate to the holder just so it doesn't move around. What I did notice was these bits sort of made the plate bracket sort of stand away from the bumper, and I think it might be tilted forward a bit too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these off, and I'll probably reuse the existing mounting holes here and here because I know that they line up, and then that way I can re-drill the actual plate bracket to mount the number plate to the plinth, and hopefully it doesn't foul. So I've now marked out where I want these holes. These bits have now been cut off as well. One side is a little bit neater than the other, but I did nick the number plate, and you can slightly see it from the other side, but never mind. So yeah, I've measured 20mm in from this inner lip on the plinth, and then 60mm up. Oh, 60, yeah, I think I was 60mm up from the bottom of the plate. So yeah, hopefully it should be mounted okay. The reason I didn't use these is because, well, I could have gone in the corner here. I think if I used in this corner here on this cutout, I think that might personally is too far in the plate. I'd rather the screws be on the other, further towards the edge. So yeah, should look alright. I mean, if it doesn't look alright, then I'll buy another number plate, but don't know until we try. So let's get these drilled. I've marked the holes there, so I just need to find the centre of them. Although saying that, doesn't matter too much if these holes are slightly larger. No, ignore that. They do need to be smaller, because if not, the bloody bolt will fall through. I'm an absolute idiot. So after I drilled the plate and the plinth, I realised I could have just used this hole to mount the plate and the plinth, rather than mounting the plinth to the car and then the plate to the plinth. So, so yeah, I will need a new number plate. Never mind. So let's get this bumper cleaned up, make it a little bit more presentable, and get it mounted. And there we go, all mounted. Awesome. On to the rear one. So the first one came out okay. Second one is rather rusty. So I've got my impact driver and a mallet. If you haven't used one of these, they're fantastic. Got me out of several tough situations in the past where like the head is corroded or it's just too tight to turn. So if this doesn't work, I'll be very surprised. I'll have to drill it out. So this is probably an odd way of doing it, but I've marked the centre of the plate here, and on the car I've marked what I believe is the centre from here to here, and then I've also marked a line where the edge of the plate would sit. I've marked 40mm in, 6 1/4, 62.5 down, so then that should be near enough central on the sides. So yeah, just need to drill these, and then I can then line up on the car. And there we go, one import plate now fitted. Got to change this screw cap because but yeah, much better. Well, it might be. On to the next job. So next up is to try and figure out what the problem is with the horn. So the ignition's now on. Push the buttons and there's nothing. Right, so let's head down to the fuse box panel down here on the right hand side by the pedals and check the fuse. Right, so fuse box, horn, bottom on the right hand side. That looks okay. So put that back in. Let's try it again. Nothing. Right, okay. Let's open the bonnet and see what we can find. So I've now disconnected the horns. Let's see if it works. It works. Let's try the other one. You know, that one works. Right, let's dig a bit deeper. So on the battery, positive on the plug. Zoom in, ignition's on, pushing the button, and there's nothing. Right, no power again to the horn itself. Okay, let's find out where the relay is. Right, so after some digging on the forum, the relay is in the corner here, and there should be this white and yellow one. And from what I can tell, it's an LA10 relay, which is commonly used on MX-5s as well. So I'm going to give a friend a call and see if I can borrow one of his relays just to test, and yeah, see if that cures the issue. So I managed to borrow this relay, LA10, looks identical. So let's plug it in and give it a try. Try and do this one-handed. Probably ain't gonna work. Right, relay's now plugged in. The original one's still there. Let's give it a try. So ignition on. Still nothing. Okay. Right, okay, so the only other thing it can be is either wiring the button itself, the steering wheel. I mean, without checking voltage at the relay, it's hard to say. A little bit tricky when you're on your own, but I think if I've got a blank on the dashboard somewhere, just there, I think it's just going to be easier just to wire it in from scratch. So unfortunately my audio on this particular clip was ruined by the wind noise. So I've routed the cable from the bulkhead and I've tucked it through past the strut tower and the battery. As you can see, I drilled a couple of holes in the wiring grommet in the back, and the horn wire was tucked through, and I used the original trunk in here to hide it all, and then I tucked it through underneath the slam panel and connected it to the horn. Moving to inside the car, the wiring then comes through the bulkhead behind the glove box, and this is the relay that I'll be using to wire it up. It's a 4-pin, and there's a nice little gap behind this wiring where I'll be tucking it away. Right, so I've managed to dismantle dashboard, finally get this blank off, so now I've got to try and make this horn button fit into there. Looking at the size difference, it's hard to tell on camera, but it is very close, so it's not going to look OEM, but as long as it's functional, then that is all that matters. Right, so I've used the step drill to cut a hole in this blanking. I went up to, I was just about to go into 20mm. That is a little bit loose, but I think with the job this switch is doing, because it's being pushed down all the time, I don't think it's going to pop out. So the next task was the main body. I had to gut the center out. So what I did first was along these edges, used a hacksaw and went down where the spring clip, or sort of spring loaded piece is here to keep it in the dashboard. I went down as far as that, and yeah, then I just used a Stanley blade and sort of scored the insides of the plastic, and then used some long nose pliers to wiggle it loose and break off. So try and do this one-handed. So normally you would use this locking ring on the back side of the switch, but obviously that isn't going to be possible in this case. So then the switch should so yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It is ever so slightly off center, but doesn't matter. Quite a flush fit. Like I said, it is a bit loose, so it will pull out, but once the wiring is done, then it shouldn't be too much of an issue. So yeah, when it comes to wiring, I'll split this apart again, feed the wires through this body of the switch, and then connect it, and then push it all back in. Because if not, trying to do it as is, like it is here, will be quite tricky. So yeah, let's carry on with the wiring and yeah, see how we go. I didn't actually film the removal of the dash because I didn't actually know what I was doing. So the panel underneath the steering wheel, this one here, just the other way around, that just prizes off from this corner, and then it was getting stuck around here. So the side panel comes off, and there's 2 screws, and then you have to remove the cubby hole on that panel here, and underneath, be around about here. Yeah, so this is the panel. Underneath in one of these holes is a trim clip, so that needs to be removed, and then that panel can drop off. There's 3 screws holding the lower cowl plastic on the steering column, and then that and the top piece just prizes apart. And then for this top dash piece, there's a screw there and round about there. There we go. So yeah, and then the whole piece prizes off, and then I just got my hand underneath and squeezed the plastic of the blank together, and it just popped out. Excuse the mess. So I've now fed through the wiring. Move the torch. Wiring, it's all cable tied. Comes down here to the relay. So the red one is for switch live, just so I know on the other side. So it's all tucked, probably can't really see it, all tucked through the dash onto the other side. Right, so this is driver's side. As you can see, red wire is there. I just need to tuck up behind the pedals to the fuse box. I need to grab a piggyback fuse holder, and the horn wiring is here, ready to connect. So yeah, that works on the earth. So as the button's pushed, the whole circuit's then completed. So yeah, almost there. It's not been too bad so far. Just hope it all worked afterwards. Right, so I've got the piggyback connector connected to the fuse box. Unfortunately, the cover won't fit with it on, but ain't a big deal. Get a light on here. That's all tucked away. The button is now in, and I've connected the live to the battery, but I haven't got an inline fuse holder. But for testing purposes, this will be all right. So let's give it a go. Cool. Awesome, it works. So that's one thing now ticked off. So I just need to get a fuse holder for the live on the battery, just to be on the safe side. And yeah, we are good to go. A shout out to club member Paul, who very kindly sent me this battery retaining bracket. So it's much better than the universal silver one that I originally had. I've left the strut brace off for now. Apparently these have an issue with fitting PT coilovers. It must be something to do with the adjustable on the top. So I've left it off for now, and I'll revisit that later. I do have another minor update. I got a bit ahead of myself the other night and did it prior to doing this video, so here's that clip now. So I thought I'd get a little bit of work done before the daylight finishes. So that's the bandage in the center section. So fingers crossed that sorts it. And I've also got the seat runner rod back from being welded. So I dropped this off to my friend Scott, who very kindly welded a new plate and a captive nut. Go check out his channel. He's under Iron Talons Engineering. Does some pretty cool stuff. Currently in the middle of rebuilding a Mark III Supra. I do plan on doing a photo shoot on his Sora, hopefully at some point this year. So yeah, his link is in the description. So now that's welded, that's what the original, that's what the original looked like. So yeah, losing daylight, so I'll make a start and get this reassembled, and then hopefully it should all be sorted. So yeah, I got the seat all back together, and I mean, this is the cushion moving, but that is solid now. So yeah, and also good news that the exhaust is now fixed. So I'll just get underneath. So yeah, unfortunately it did take a few bandages, and it was leaking quite badly at the flange where the centre section meets the back box, so that's heavily caked in paste at the moment, but as long as it's sealed for the MOT, then that's all that matters. So I will be getting a new one made at some point, but yeah, I'll just have to wait for it to be MOT'd first, and I can cross that bridge later. Nice and quiet. Yeah, it definitely needs an exhaust, but all in due time. So yeah, I believe it's now ready for the MOT, so wish me luck. So now let it warm up, and I've still got the hunting, still got the vacuum issue. So I need to get a smoke test and see what's going on. So, but one step forward, two steps back. Over the jaws of project cars, eh?